But it's a penalty. I get it. On the video game.
That's what you just said. Yes.
You think an old man would say chillin'?
On the video game?
On the video games?
Yeah.
Well.
You're an old man.
If you want.
Well,
I'm not a gamer.
You're getting older.
I mean, I guess
Mikey.
Why would I have that?
You had the circus or something.
6'3", I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle?
My dad tell you about that?
In the SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here.
Yeah,
like they're
all fatter than I am.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Good evening. Come on. There we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today's Monday, January 30th. Thank God for all of you listening. First of all, I want to say thank you for sticking with me last week, right? Obviously, the show, if you're a fan of the show and you watch the show on a regular basis, you've grown accustomed to watching me and Jared and Lloyd and Jack be able to go back and forth and have conversation and kind of make you feel like you're just chilling with the boys in the living room. Last week, we did not have that dynamic because it was just me. So I want to say thank you for sticking with me and listening to me talk. And I also want to say you are in for a treat because now you don't have to just listen to me talk the entire time. You have my co-host, Jay Mitch, is back in the studio looking nice and tan from the beach.
Let's go. I found all the shade, baby.
Hey, Mr. Shea had the bucket hat.
Found all the shade,
You had the
baby.
nice umbrellas.
Bucket hat, umbrella, towel around the neck, shades. Look, no skin. I was like this.
You were ready.
On
You were
the
wearing the joggers.
beach right here.
Hey, but he's back. Jay Mitch is back. Lloyd is still on his hiatus. Hopefully, he will be back here soon. We will have an update on the Lloyd situation soon. We'll have some answers here soon on what the situation is and when he's coming back. I would expect it to be very, very soon. But until he comes back, you have me and Jared and Stewie. Like I said, next man up mentality. Stewie is taking over for Lloyd until Lloyd gets back. We are going to have some fun today. Big show. No guests, just me and Jared and Stewie and just raw talking about the games, talking about championship weekend, which, you know, the second game, the night game, was a lot better than the first game. Obviously, the 49ers got put into a very, it's an impossible situation. And if you were complaining about Brock Purdy not being able to tough it out and come in there and play,
Crazy.
News came out today, he just tore his UCL. So he has to have Tommy John surgery, which that never really happens to a quarterback. Now he got hit, so it's different. It wasn't because he was throwing. So all of you out there, you got to go out there and play. Listen, I get it.
He did go out there and play. He
did
can't throw.
Right. Like he did what he needed to do, but like he can't. Like when I've never torn my UCL. Thank God. Knock on wood, that never happens. I know a lot of people who have. Right. I grew up in the baseball world. I watched a lot of pitchers go through that recovery. It is very painful. You cannot pick up a baseball. You can't throw a baseball. So football is a little bit different. It's not as much stress on the elbow, but it is still very painful, especially after it happens the day it happens.
Seems like he told him, "Hey, coach, I can't throw."
And he tried. You saw him on the sidelines.
Okay, well, then the second guy goes out there and gets hurt. Coach, I can't throw. All right, we won't run any pass plays. Third down comes, they run one little screen play where he throws the ball 6 yards, and they never try again.
Yeah.
That probably tells you right there.
Hey, it hurt.
He can't throw.
It hurts. I thought they were maybe going to play Christian McCaffrey at quarterback and see something crazy happen. And, listen, I feel bad for the 49er fans because that is a tough situation. I thought the 49ers they do. They have a championship defense. They have an offense that was rolling and was cooking with Brock Purdy. Obviously a freak incident, batted of the elbow and like whatever. I mean, if they didn't have replay, that was an incomplete pass because you thought the ball went 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Right? Up in the air and he just lost it and whatever. But torn UCL, obviously that is tough. We're going through these Heineken headlines. I forgot that we were doing the Heineken Silver now, which is very good. Listen, can you put the camera over there? So see if you've seen the show last week, Heineken Silver is the new product that Heineken is promoting, right? If you look at it, we had this huge beer tower with all of the cans that they had given us. They had given us 2 cases of beer just to promote it. We're getting obviously some more stuff. And if you watched it, we had 2 of those and they're boom, really high. If you look at them now, they're not near as high as they were, which goes to tell you that somebody has been drinking some of the beer in the studio, which is a good sign because it shows you that the Heineken Silver is very good. And it is their light beer. It is refreshing. It is 95 calories. It is equivalent, and I don't want to compare brands because Heineken is a sponsor of ours. They are a partner of ours, and I'm not a huge Heineken fan, to be honest with you. But whenever they came here and said, "Hey, you need to try these Heineken Silvers," I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is easy. It's easy to drink." So I started drinking them. Obviously, other people started drinking them. Thank God that we got some more delivered so that we can continue to have display. But shout out to Heineken for their sponsorship. We appreciate it, and Heineken Silver for being so good.
So
Maybe-
Mikey just snitched on himself and just basically said he's been drinking them after hours. And
Maybe popped a few. Hey, Gordon came on the show last week on Monday, and he grabbed one like he was about to open. He said, it's not cold enough because it wasn't chilled. But he was about to drink one up on the show. The beauty of digital media, the beauty of being on YouTube, you can.
Yeah.
If you're on normal TV, you cannot.
Smart move by him too, not to ruin that first taste. That first taste means a lot.
It is, but it's good. I recommend try it. It'll be our base beer of choice during baseball season. Which, speaking of baseball season, and I want to get back to the games. I want to get back to the weekend because I want to hear about it. I know maybe some other people want to hear about it because it's been kind of shitty weather here, a little cold.
Yeah.
It's freezing in Dallas. It's going to be a little cold front coming in this weekend. So they want to hear you talk about the beach because they're probably dreaming about being on the beach a little bit. But speaking of baseball season, we told you that this is the show to watch baseball or to get your baseball content. Obviously, me and Jared have a history of baseball. We played here. We won a national championship here. We both played
No way.
professionally. Yeah, if you don't know, the last team to win a national championship was us on 2009. I hope that this team is the next team to win a national championship. It is time for another team to take that the title or the most recent championship away from us. But we have been around. We have seen baseball. Jared had he was fortunate to play not only baseball here but football. He won a national championship in both, so he's got unique insight. But baseball-wise, you're not going to get content like you're going to get here. You're not going to get the insight. You're not going to get the conversations. It's going to almost be like you're in a locker room. Jay Johnson was on our show every Monday for 2.5 months last year. He has committed to doing the show on Mondays this year. It'll be Jay Johnson Mondays. He can go on a whole bunch of shows and they can ask him a whole bunch of questions. That's great. You can get a bunch of answers. You're not going to get the conversations that we're going to have. He trusts us. He knows us. He understands that we understand baseball. We understand where he's coming from. So you're going to get a unique perspective. With that said, Jay Johnson Mondays will start next Monday. Jay Johnson has committed to being on the show next Monday, and we are going to continue to roll out that baseball content every Monday with Jay, and we're going to have some fun. You're going to get a different side of Jay that you don't usually see in the media. He's comfortable around us. We're going to give you some really good information, but you're also going to get a loose locker room atmosphere in here, right? That's kind of what we try to do. That's kind of what the culture that we try to establish, and hopefully that you enjoy it. I was at another wedding. This is number 6 in a row.
Boy, that's a lot.
6. That's
I did
2,
one.
3,
let me tell you,
4,
that's
5,
a lot.
6.
I did
6.
one, and that's a lot. So 6 is.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was good, but it was fun. It was our friend Clay Moffitt. He'd actually be on the show.
Oh,
Tommy
yeah,
Moffitt.
congrats,
Yeah,
Clay.
congrats,
I forgot.
Clay. They're in their honeymoon right now in St. Lucia. We were there. It was great. Got to see some current players there that were friends with Clay. Got to see some past players there. I got to see, it was just fun. It was a lot of really good people. It was really fun. I'm glad that I have a little bit of a break in weddings. Your weekend though, you had last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago
was your wedding. Congratulations! I don't think we've been here. Let's give you a round of applause because listen, show the ring. It's a little weird. It's a little weird when you first put that thing on there. It's you play with it. You take it off. How many times have you dropped it?
Not really.
I usually play with it and then I'll drop it a little bit because I'll start trying to spin it and
I haven't really dropped it much, but it's a little different.
A little different.
A little adjustment period.
so then you go and you stay at the resort in Cabo for a day or two after, and then you go to a different resort.
Yeah.
How was the different resort?
Fire.
Fire.
Good. Yeah,
More
it
fire?
was good. It was a different feel.
Different
It was
feel.
super chill. The weather was unbelievable.
Yep.
But it was more of a kind of a like the other resort was kind of wide open in a sense of like you could see around corners. Like
and you
could
see the whole ocean.
You could see
the whole
everything.
deal,
This
yeah.
one had there's trees and stuff here and there, and it was kind of hidden spots and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a different feel, but the place was great. The place was super chill. Apparently, I was there the whole weekend with Zach Wilson. Didn't even realize it until the last day.
Like the Jets, Zach Wilson.
Yeah. If you want to learn how we figure this out too, so you have just a great story about it.
This is great.
Last day, by the way, they had a.
Was he there with like a girlfriend? Maybe his mom's
I'll give you the
friend?
skinny. I'll give you the skinny. So, the last day, there's a breakfast buffet there that is
Oh,
unbelievable.
love a good breakfast.
If you ever get a chance to go to Solaz, it's a resort in Cabo. It's closer to the San Jose side, but it's
So you could actually get in the water and be in the beach,
you could,
like in the
you could
ocean on the
actually
side.
get, it wasn't
okay.
on the Pacific side, so you
Right.
can actually get in the beach on the side, right? I mean, you can get in the water on the side. So we go there. The breakfast is probably top 2 to 3 breakfasts I've ever had, and it's a breakfast buffet, and it's unbelievable, right? So we go there the last day before we leave, right?
Not all inclusive, not all inclusive.
No, not all.
Not all
inclusive.
inclusive, yeah.
So
Those
we
are
go there the
better
last day. We're
foods, right?
sitting there. I wasn't even paying attention, honestly. I didn't really care. Random guy walks in with a girl. Him, blonde chick, whatever. They go sit at a table. I wasn't even paying attention. Well, the view I had was like kind of towards the front of the place. And then the buffet area was over here. And then like the seated area was here, right? So he comes in. They sit over there. I don't really pay attention to it. I didn't really care. Well, at one point, he's like standing in like the buffet area. But like I could tell he had a white hat on. And I could tell it was like looking my way. So now I just get the feel that he's like looking at me.
Thinking that you're maybe.
So that's the only thing that made me
Yeah.
look over, right? So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, why is this dude looking at me? So I look over, and as soon as I look over, I could see he wasn't looking at me, but his face was my way. And I'm like, bro, that's Zach Wilson. I'm like,
What are
why
you
is
doing?
he here?
What are
So
you
whatever. I'm like, it can't be him, whatever. So he walks over, and this is the best part about it. When I saw this, I was like, he's got about as little feel as I thought he did, as it seems like, right?
I was hoping you'd go the other way, but
No, it's what you think it is.
Okay.
And the reason why, so what was he, the number 2 overall pick or something like that?
yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Probably got like a Nike deal or something, correct?
Yes.
This man is at probably a 5-star resort right after the season ends. He walks by. He's got, I don't know, just a regular like outfit on, right? I look down. He's got socks and flip-flops on. That ain't no big deal. No big deal. There's no big deal. I've seen people do it, no big deal. I do it from time to time.
At the beach.
He wasn't on it.
Okay,
He was still,
okay,
at the breakfast area.
Okay.
I do it from time to time. No big deal.
Right. Was it
The
the
big
thong?
deal-
Was it the thong
No,
ones
no,
or was it
that's-
the slides?
It slides.
Okay.
The big deal is, you know what slides he had on? The team issued
No, shower
Nike
shoes.
shower shoes with the big Jets emblem on the strap. I'm like,
Boy.
dog.
Freshman college, get all your gear. Let me show up to campus. That guy.
I'm wearing this to class
Yeah,
I
today.
that guy.
guarantee you, over the past this year and last year, he's
Wow.
probably received 5 to 10 pairs of slides. That's the ones we chose to
Like,
pack
you
and
didn't
wear.
even, you're number 2 overall, but you can't even buy like Gucci slides or something to where like.
Man, I know
You
you.
got a
I know
little
you got a
bit
pair
of
of Nike
fashion?
slides that don't even have Jets all over them.
Wow.
I go, so you told me a lot about yourself.
Yep.
You played a lot of pro ball. Think of the dudes and the times that you've seen dudes wear that and who they are and how they are as a person. Should tell you a lot
Yeah,
about it.
didn't really hang out much with those guys.
Exactly. So yeah, but the resort was great though. It was unbelievable.
Was it?
And-
Was his?
oh, and
was
I-
his date good looking?
Yeah, she's pretty fine. Probably
Okay.
Mormon. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. And I don't know. Maybe some. I'll leave it there. Anyway, so and to give you like the next bar to it too was pretty funny. And the reason why I say he was probably there the entire time that I was there, or at least a good bit of it, because I left on a Friday, right? Saw him that Friday morning. We go to the airport.
He's in the airport.
In the airport, different outfit. Changed his socks.
At the
Same slides.
Same slides.
Oh,
in the airport.
Oh,
and the
dude,
airport
that's-
is jumping too. I'm like, bro, I've never seen anything like this before.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's embarrassing.
Number 2 overall pick.
Number 2 overall pick. He's not going to be at the New York. They're probably
New York
just gonna
media.
They're going to get rid of
New
him.
York media, number 2 overall. Like your face is
Boy,
been
that's tough.
everywhere.
That's tough.
But
tough.
the resort was great. If you ever get a chance, I strongly suggest it.
Maybe Eli
it's a good
Apple will
time.
be there because he's been telling everybody else to go to Cabo or Cancun and running his mouth. And then, unfortunately, they lose because obviously I was rooting for the Bengals. I'm sure everybody in here was because not only is Joe Burrow our guy and, I'm a fan of him and, Jamar Chase. I just thought that the way they were playing, they were going to beat them. The way that the hype of Mahomes being hurt with the high ankle sprain. Now, I will say this. We have a good friend of ours who is a doctor and orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah.
And we asked him, like, hey, what's like, is the high ankle sprain like a thing? Like, is that like, if you had a high ankle sprain, is this capable? Or are they saying high ankle sprain, not really a high ankle sprain because he played so well, he can move around? Some guys say, I was out 5 weeks with a high ankle sprain. He's like, listen, high ankle sprain is a very broad classification.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has one, but how much of a sprain
what's
is
the
it?
severity of it?
Like, Is there ligament damage? Usually when you have a high ankle sprain, you have some ligament damage. That's what causes the length of time of you to recover. You know, it seems like he didn't have a lot of ligament damage. I'm not saying he was 100%. He wasn't 100%, but he wasn't. It wasn't as bad as the media made it out to be. Whatever. I don't think that
or if it was, it's for them to come out and voluntarily just tell us that he didn't get a shot was weird to me.
Yeah, right. I thought so too.
Why are you telling me that? Like,
I thought so too.
Why is there a need for you to come out to just tell me like as if like this is about to be some Herculean effort that we're about to get? Like that, there was no need for that. So either, like you said, for me, it was like either it wasn't as bad as you think, or as like the majority of people would deal with whatever pain he had in that situation, or I think maybe they was full of shit about that he didn't get a pain shot.
Right.
It's hard for me to believe. One of the two.
That's not necessary to bring up.
This is one of the two.
What I mean?
Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like if you're gonna play, you play.
No doubt.
And we get to judge what you put on the field. You know, like that just is what it is, right?
No doubt.
Like,
And
shoot up if you want.
right.
that's on you.
Okay, like this is the perfect example. We find out the day after that Brock Purdy has a torn UCL. If you ever seen, like you said, if you ever seen a baseball pitcher, this UCL goes, they don't pick up a ball anymore.
No.
We don't throw it anymore.
No.
Right? So when Brock Purdy was out there, he made one attempt to throw, and it was a 6-yard pass. That means he couldn't throw.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes had a sprained ankle, but he moved around a good bit. So I'm going to judge what I saw, which was a man that could run around a little bit. Didn't look that compromised to me.
Right.
Now, maybe he couldn't do like the super extra stuff, but he looked fine enough to move when he was.
He moved out of the pocket enough. He looked fine. He obviously
He took hits too.
Yeah,
like
no
there was
doubt.
times he took hits. I'm
No
like,
doubt.
I
No
don't
doubt.
know if it was that bad.
He
Now
even
listen,
tweaked it a couple times.
We watched Jaden with a high ankle sprain, and that man was hurt, and he
Right.
didn't finish that game.
Right. Yeah.
Like so,
There's different severities
Yeah,
of it.
what are we talking about here?
different levels of it. Obviously, nobody can argue that Joe Burrow. I guess you can't argue, but nobody can argue that Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow are the top 2 quarterbacks in the league. I say argue. You can't argue. A lot of people like to argue. I think that they've both proven that they are number 1 and number 2. They've played 4 times. All 4 games have been decided by three points. Joe Burrow is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes bested him this year. Gets to go back to the Super Bowl. I think it's his 3rd time in 4 years in the Super Bowl. Obviously, he has a Super Bowl ring. He has an MVP. So until Joe gets past that, you'd have to say Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, right? Now they're very, very close to each other, and I think that it's going to be it's going to make AFC match. It's the new Tom and Peyton, right? You know, Joe Burrow and Pat Mahomes are going to be there forever. They're going to be there for a long time. AFC matchups are going to be elite. There's a lot. The quarterback situation in the NFL is in a very, very, very good position. Now, if you look at the game, obviously it wasn't Joe and the Bengals' best game. Their offensive line, everybody thought they were going to struggle the week before. They played lights out and they played very well. This past game, they struggled.
Yeah.
They got their shit pushed in, and Joe got hit a lot. He got sacked a lot. He threw a couple interceptions, and he didn't play his best game. I'm sure he would say the same thing. But at the end of the day, Joe Burrow, when you have Joe Burrow, you always have an opportunity to win the game. And, people are coming out and saying the NFL is rigged, and, they had the officiating in the game was not great, right? They missed calls on both sides, more so
on the Bengals.
They missed more calls for the Bengals than the Chiefs. The Chiefs got more advantageous calls. I understand that. There's a couple of controversial stuff that Twitter went nuts on, and I understand all of that. At the end of the day, Joe and the Bengals didn't quite do enough to win, right? Now, it's easy to blame refs. I think if some of those calls went differently, it would have changed the game. It's not quite to the extent that would happen in New Orleans when the no call and the pass interference, because you can say, oh, you can't blame one call. Well, that one you can.
Yeah,
because if the game is over, right? That gets called, they run the clock out, kick the field goal
from the 3.
Boom. Yeah.
From the
it's
3.
over.
Yeah.
It's over, right? But there was some very controversial calls. One of the plays I think that people are hammering right now, and I think the people who are hammering this are people who haven't played high level, I don't even say high level, competitive sports. And it's Joseph Osai, right? This guy had played an unbelievable game, played his ass off. He was everywhere. He had a high motor, never gave up on a play. And there was a play at the end of the game where Patrick Mahomes rolled out right, scrambled right. It was 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, or whatever it was. And he ran, and he got the first down. And Joseph Osai is running his ass off trying to catch him, a guy who is faster than him, and trying to make him not get the first down. Well, he got the first down. Patrick Mahomes goes out of bounds, and Joseph Osai runs and shoves him in the back, and he was probably a step or two in the off the field. It was a late hit. It was the correct call. I understand that people are like, "Well, you don't make a call in that situation to affect the game." No, it was the correct call. I wish that they would have said, "Okay, there wasn't malicious intent. He didn't mean to do that. It just happened. Bad time, bad situation. It happened." That is not why the Bengals lost the game, though, right? And if you want to try to blame him for losing the game, shame on you, because you obviously did not watch the rest of the game. They had the first down. Yeah, granted, they put the 15 yards on the end of that run, put them in position to score, but who's to say the next play they didn't score 15? They didn't get 15 yards. Like, that play right there did not lose them the game. Yeah, it made it a little bit easier for the Chiefs to score, and basically put the game away. But there was other moments within the game that could have changed the outcome of the game. Now, if I was a betting man, which I am going, the minute the Super Bowl is over and they have the odds for next year, I am hammering future odds on the Bengals. After the way this ended, and knowing Joe Burrow and knowing this team and understanding, some of the background, I think next year the Bengals are that's gonna be the best team the Bengals have ever had. I say ever had. This is gonna be the best Bengals team under Joe Burrow that they've had next year. I think that the loss, the way they lost, how they lost, the shit talking back and forth, which is a whole nother conversation that I want to have, because I think some of the shit talking from the Chiefs side. Listen, Eli Apple probably needs to shut the hell up. Yes. Right? Eli Apple did a little too much, and you're not the guy to talk shit. Joe Burrow wasn't talking shit, right? Joe Burrow didn't verbally come out and say it was Burrowhead or any of those types of things. A couple of the D-backs may have said it, but nobody else really said it. Now, the mayor of Cincinnati said it, probably shouldn't have said it. So the Bengals use all
Definitely shouldn't have said it.
Right, which is fine. The Bengals can use that. The Chiefs can use that as bulletin board material, whatever, motivation.
Travis Kelce called him a
That's what I want to get to, right? Like, it was funny, but like, you're the Chiefs, right? Like, you won a Super Bowl, you've been in the Super Bowl 3 of the last 4 years.
That serious.
You've been there, right? Like, so I understand you felt a little bit disrespected, but like, to go and to take it to that level, it's like, hey, bro, if y'all are the guy, if y'all are them, and you're the guy and you're the team, like, you just proved it on the field. Why do you have to go out there and like?
Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I honestly feel like this is what I would do. If I know I'm the guy, if I know what I've done, if I know where we've been in this thing, and like with our team, I'm fine with, hey, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and prove it to you, and then when the game's over, I'm gonna give it right back to you.
Yeah, I understand it,
and I think that's what they got.
The mayor deserved it, right? I don't think that the guys and the players, majority of the Bengals, like, they weren't the ones talking shit, right? Like, I don't think that you should they threw a jab at Joe Burrow about the cigars. I understand it.
No, but I'll say this. I strongly, I don't think the mayor situation happens and the Burrowhead really catches on if it didn't start with the player's mouth. Like,
yeah,
I don't
well,
think
the
it
D-backs,
really,
the
so I think
right.
It really started because
Yeah.
it came from some of the
No, I get
players,
that.
and I think that's kind of the
It gave the other people off the field like, oh, I have the
yeah. Oh, now I can say it.
Yeah. No, I get it. But it is what it is. The Chiefs earned it. They won. They moved on. It sucks that Joe and the boys are done, because it made football watching the NFL a lot more fun, because you felt like you had a rooting interest in it. Obviously, I'm still gonna watch the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl and you're gonna watch it.
I don't know if you remember this too. I think right when the playoffs started, we we sat here and we picked like who do you got, who's gonna win it, who's gonna go. And I don't know if you remember, I said, and it's not like to say I'm right because at the end of the day you can't be that right about it. But I did say I was like, man, they're hot. The Bengals are playing really well. They're unbelievable right now. But I was like, so you're telling me that they're gonna go to Buffalo and beat the DeMar Hamlin situation going on in Buffalo, and then after that, they're going to go to Arrowhead and beat Mahomes for a fourth straight time? I go, they got to do all of that to get to the Super Bowl? I go, man, that's tough.
No, it's tough.
To me, I'm just like, I don't know if I can see that happening.
And then all the shit talking started to happen. That didn't help.
Right.
That did not help because Arrowhead was loud.
Yeah.
You could tell they had delayed game penalties. They couldn't get the play called in. They couldn't really get communication. So all that stuff matters. It's unfortunate.
But so when you just see like the mountain someone's got to climb, like that's especially for a team that like you look at it like you're supposed to kind of be there. And I don't even remember like kind of like the thoughts of like these Giants teams that were, going from wild card to winning championships and stuff like that. But they had to like that we ain't supposed to be here for.
Right.
So there was like they felt like they were playing with house money. You talking about a team who knew they were supposed to be there. Like they didn't have that extra fuck it, let's go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of I think that's a lot to beat.
It's a lot. No, the Bengals have some moves they need to make. Obviously, the offensive line got better as the year. They all got hurt. Now they got to figure out how to make sure they solidify that offensive line. I think they have some cap room, but I think they're trying to budget their cap for Joe Burrow. The
NFL's helping them out too, so they'll be fine.
What do you mean?
Oh, you didn't hear? They added an extra $16+ million to the cap for next year. So
fine.
that can won't be as large that you got to kick down the road.
Not as large. It's good for the Saints. Saints are 32 out of 32.
It'll be just as empty as you think.
No doubt. So they're gonna budget. They're gonna give him. Obviously, I think he's gonna probably be the highest paid quarterback at the time whenever he signs that deal. So they're budgeting for him. They have cap space. They have guys. They're obviously gonna have to sign Jamar Chase back in a couple years. They have, you have T. Higgins. You have a bunch of pieces. You got to figure it out. Hayden Hurst is a free agent. You have some free agents on the market.
You're gonna have to figure out what you got to do. What you got to do with Joe. Mixon soon.
Yep. You have a lot of guys.
And that running back the next contract, or just letting them walk and get into the next one.
Yeah,
that's a tough decision.
No doubt. You have a lot of money that need to be. You have a lot of guys that need a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow is priority number one. Obviously, you find the pieces around him. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason. Lamar Jackson's still out there. We're going to see what the quarterback market looks like for him. We talked a little bit about the 49ers-Eagles game. I think the Eagles, they got a pretty favorable situation with the 49ers being hurt. The 49ers have a great defense, right? Brock Purdy got hurt. Offense was tough because they were up, but the defense was still really good, and the Eagles put up 31 points. They dominated that defense. They did what they needed to do. I think Jalen Hurts is the real deal, and it's going to be a very, very entertaining Super Bowl. First Super Bowl in the history of the NFL, 2 black quarterbacks are playing against each other. I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I think both quarterbacks are very deserving and very worthy of being in that situation, right? Like sometimes a quarterback gets there because the defense is really good. No, I think both teams are there because of their quarterbacks.
I think it tells you a lot about the state of the NFL and as far as for like its direction and the hands that it's into, because both of those kids are both under 30 too. So
yeah, right. There's a ton of talent, ton
of time, ton of opportunity for those guys to grow and kind of open the door for. And then it's not even like the black quarterback; it's the mobile, the new age kind of quarterback that can move around. That's not standing on a platform.
Right, no doubt. The stereotype kind of has kind of started to shift away. Yeah. Now they're looking for that guy. So it's going to be entertaining. There's 2 weeks for them to prepare. You have the Pro Bowl this week, which is going to look a lot different.
Yeah. Should be kind of fun this week.
Which is great. It's going to be a little flag football-esque. You're going to have – it's going to be a little competition. This is something that probably the Pro Bowl should be.
Yeah.
You have this week. The Super Bowl matchup is in 2 weeks. We'll have a conversation about it leading up. Obviously, we are going to talk about a bunch of other stuff leading up to the Super Bowl. But football is winding down. Baseball is starting to pick up. I wish I could say basketball is picking up, but that is not the case. LSU men's basketball, I was in attendance on Saturday. They lost their 8th straight game. Ew. They actually made they looked pretty good in the second half. They started making a comeback. They took the lead. I think they ended up getting up by 5 at one point, and then the wheels fell off, and they lost by 10. So men's basketball has a lot of work to do. They need to figure out how to win a game. I thought Texas Tech was probably going to be the game that they could win. Texas Tech was 10-10. They're not the SEC. It just felt like it was a game that they could get off the schneid. Did not happen. But the other side of basketball, and it's going on right now. Can we get a score update? Women's basketball is 20. They're 20-0. They're playing right now at home at the PMAC. It started at 6 o'clock. Obviously, I wish we could be there. We are not there. What is the score?
15-12 at the end of the first.
Who is winning?
LSU.
LSU is up 15-12 into the first. They are playing Tennessee at home. This is probably their biggest test to date.
No, it's actually 21-20 with 5 left in the second.
Wow. Okay. You need to update the
the
website.
Maybe I have to update the Twitter.
21-20 with 5 to go in the second, right?
That ESPN app, baby.
They are 20-0. They're ranked number 3 in the country. They obviously have a matchup on Valentine's Day against South Carolina, who is the number 1 team in the country. They are also undefeated. The last 2 undefeated teams in college basketball, women's college basketball. They are playing at home right now. They are winning by 1 point in the second quarter. Like I said, this is, I think, is their toughest test to date. If they get through this, I think it is, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but I think the road is going to be a little easier until they get to South Carolina, which that's going to be, if they win today, it'll be a 1 versus 2 matchup, and it'll be very, very entertaining. It's on Super Bowl Sunday. I say Valentine's Day. It's not on Valentine's Day. It's on 12th. It's on Super Bowl Sunday. So it's at 1 o'clock on that Super Bowl Sunday. Watch the game leading up to the Super Bowl. Good timing, no doubt. Before leading up to the Super Bowl, there's really nothing going on.
Yeah.
Boom. Setting up for the parties or going to parties, doing all of that. But they are putting themselves in a position to win a national championship this year. I think they are, going to be right there at the end of the year. At least make it to the Final Four. Obviously, basketball is hard. Anything can happen. But Kim's got the girls. And if you were at the men's basketball game on Saturday, it wasn't really full. If you went to the last women's game, almost sold out. This game is sold out, right? So they are building the hype. They are bringing fans in. They're putting out a very entertaining product and a very well-coached product and a very well-played product, and that equals success, and success equals fans. And they're gonna Allie and her friends are at the game tonight.
Oh, they went to the game?
They went to the game.
Nice.
I'm not here. I am not. Obviously, I'm here because we're doing the show and we love y'all and we want to put out a really good show for you. But women's basketball is they're doing something special, and I think all of those updates that the PMAC needs, or these new, like this facelift that everybody has been asking for in the PMAC. I think Kim's probably the woman to do it because she gets shit done. They're winning, right? And you're going to put money behind winners, and that's going to be good for everybody. Why are you smiling over there?
We did the Will Wade podcast this morning, and Will Wade was talking about how pushy Kim Mulkey is. Not really pushy, but how she just gets
gets it.
Oh, she's
yeah. He was talking about how one morning she came in after a women's basketball game, and one of her family members had a cup from the game, and it was like football players on the cup, but they were selling football cups at a basketball game, and she went in a meeting and went off like, why the hell is a football player on a women's basketball game cup? And I guarantee tonight, if they're selling souvenir cups, it's a women's basketball player.
No doubt.
Because Kim Mulkey does
Hey,
not.
but that stuff matters, though.
Yeah, it matters.
That stuff
And
matters.
It shows the
Invest
attention
in
to
us.
detail that she has. Like,
You're here, invest in us. I like
absolutely. I am 100% on board with that. Obviously, there's a reason why she's been so successful, and there's a reason why she gets what she wants to get. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that hopefully the girls can get through this game with a W, right? And set themselves up for a 1 versus 2 national televised matchup against South Carolina. But we'll give you updates throughout the course of the game. If you're not there, if you're not watching it, we will give them to you here. I'm not going to say they're live because we're not watching the game live, but we'll give you some.
29-23, 3 left in the second.
LSU?
Yep.
29-23. Made a little. It was 21-20. They had a little run. 8-3 run right there. Can you count that as a run? 8-3 run? Maybe.
In a 2 minute span, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We spoke about this a little bit earlier. LSU baseball's 3 weeks away. We're going to start giving you a lot of baseball content. Obviously, Jay's coming on Monday, but we want to start talking about previews of the team, what we expect to see, who we want to see break out, the expectations. But I think everybody knows the expectations of the team. And as the season starts getting closer, we want to start breaking down some of the SEC matchups that you're going to see. Right, you're going to see a lot of. And this may be reactionary or this may be overreaction, but I will go ahead and say it. I think you're watching the golden age of SEC baseball and college baseball in the sense of when you go to a SEC matchup, right? Like when you watch LSU go and play on the road against A&M, or you watch Tennessee come at home to Baton Rouge and play LSU, you're going to see multiple major leaguers on the field at all times. You're going to see teams with talent that doesn't normally get to college that is now coming to college. You're going to see a pitching staff at LSU have everybody on their pitching staff throw 95 plus. That doesn't happen, right? You're going to see when Tennessee comes, you're going to see their Friday night guy pitch against our lineup, which is potentially has the number 1 overall pick in it, and Dylan Cruz. Right, you're going to have their pitcher who has the potential to go number 1 overall in Dollinger. Then our Friday night guy who is going to be going head up against Dollinger is Paul Skeens, who also has a chance to go number 1 overall. So when they come here in Baton Rouge in the beginning of April, end of March and beginning of April, you're going to watch on Thursday night or Friday, whenever they decide whoever they're pitching, you have a chance to watch 3 potential first overall picks in this draft this year, right? So all of the talent is coming here. You see all the transfers going to the SEC. We're going to preview that. I just want to give you an idea of
what you're going to see.
Because it's not normal.
I think people need to understand too, like where it's at right now to me it's kind of the definition of the rich get richer, right? Like the SEC has been the powerhouse for a while. It's ever growing. It's only gotten better. And then now you've added the age of NIL and portal stuff. Well, everyone wants to come here and test their, ability here.
Right.
It's the cream of the crop. It's top to bottom. It's literally good versus good, great versus great, and you get it every night on an every night basis. And now, like you said, it's probably better than it's ever been, right? And that's only a test of what you're gonna get a chance to see. So understand, like you said, what you're seeing is you're gonna see a lot of premium talent, a lot of high round picks, a lot of future major leaguers, a lot of maybe some future all-stars, maybe some future Cy Young / MVP / Golden Spikes. Like you're going to see really good talent, really good players, and a high level of play at an amateur level. And you have to understand that, but also embrace it and get out there and support it and see it because it's something special to see.
And it's and understand when you go out there to see, like, be in the moment, right? Like understand, like, hey, I'm watching this kid pitch. Like this is something special. So I want to give an example of. So when I was coming out of LSU, right? SEC was kind of on that upswing of like, all right, SEC is like now starting to become the best baseball conference. Like we always had talent. They always were very good. But the talent was kind of dispersed, right? Like you had UCLA was good when we were here. You had, Cal State Fullerton, Arizona State, all these teams that are historically been good were good. Texas, whatever. Texas is still good. You go, through those next 3, 4, 5 years, you start to see the talent accumulate in the SEC. And then you get to professional baseball, and some people would say, oh, SEC is like equivalent to what in the minor leagues? And people would say, oh, it's equivalent to AA, right? And you would ask a scout, and they're like, no, it's probably more equivalent to high A because, hey, your 3 starters, yeah, AA talent. Your lineups, probably AA talent.
Friday night 1 through 6.
Yeah, right.
You got a good chance of maybe getting some AA feel.
Right. But the difference is, and the separator between high-level minor league baseball, which once you get to AA and above, I would consider that high-level minor league baseball, is the bullpens weren't as deep in college. In minor league baseball, you have guys coming out in AA throwing hard. Everybody threw hard. You had a closer throwing really hard. In college baseball, you probably only had one or two guys at that time that were very good out of the bullpen that you could count on. Now, some of the other guys were crafty.
We won't even say very good. That actually got up there and flashed like, oh shit, talent.
Yeah, right. Oh, this guy's got a good arm. Like, this
Right.
guy can get it, but not consistent.
There you go.
Doing everything.
Maybe
right?
not put together, but
Right.
oh shit, talent.
Right. Now, I think that I can say, and I think if you would talk to a scout, the way the college baseball landscape has changed and the way SEC baseball landscape has changed, I think that if you talk to a scout now, he'd say, yeah, I think this is very equivalent to AA baseball because of how deep everybody's bullpens are.
And because of how the format of minor league baseball has changed as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like those guys are getting pushed to the big leagues a lot sooner, a lot quicker. So what you're going to get throughout a full season at the AA level is in a sense of the guys that are really good, they get pushed in and out of there really quick, or they go from AA straight to the big leagues. They're not there very long.
Right.
So like what you're going to get at that spot over the course of a season is very close to what you're going to get in college in SEC baseball right now.
No doubt, right? Like, I said earlier in the show, you have a pitching staff where there's not one guy. I say not one guy. I don't know exactly what everybody's velocities are, but I know that after the 18-inning scrimmage exhibition game they played in the fall against UL, they played 18 innings, right? Out of those 18 innings, and this isn't about velocity, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a stats. Out of those 18 innings, they gave up, I think, 5 hits. All 5 hits came in 2 innings of the 18 innings. So 16 out of the 18 innings were no-hit innings, right? The only pitcher in that, this is coming from a scout that was out there scouting both teams. The only pitcher that threw anything under 95, any fastball under 95, was Little, the transfer from Vanderbilt. He hit 93, right? Now, this guy transferred in, just got off of arm surgery. He had a bone spur in his arm that he had just gotten over. He had surgery to remove it, so he was recovering from it, so he wasn't 100%. He came in after the Christmas break and is throwing his bullpens and he's throwing scrimmages, and he's touching 97. So that 93 is now 97, which they all expected when he got here. So my point is, now that the one guy only threw below 95, now he's throwing 97. Now, all of those guys who pitched in those 18 innings, which I would imagine a lot because nobody's throwing probably more than 3 or 4 at that time, all of them threw 95 plus. That you don't see in college baseball. That you rarely see in professional baseball. I mean, now it's more normal, but like you're going to get guys who aren't going to just sit 95, 97 in baseball. Like they're going to get some guys that throw 93, but they may move it this much or have an unbelievable slider. The day and age is changing now, but I mean, in college,
crazy.
that's pretty rare.
And then we'll flip it, and if we're just talking about this LSU team right now, we'll flip it to the other side where you may very well see a team this year with 3 guys with 20-plus homers.
Yep.
And I'm not naming 3 guys because it could possibly be between maybe 5 or 6 different guys who could be the guys that do it.
Right.
So understand the talent and ability that you're going to have on the field. And I get it, man. Like, this is a day and age where everything's at your fingertips. Convenience is king. Everything comes on TV. I urge people to get out and actually go and be in person and see it and experience it and to do it multiple times. Get in the seats, grab you some popcorn, get you some refreshments, enjoy the view that you'll get to see from in person, because this is the closest you'll get to see that next guy who might be the next Major League All-Star or maybe the next $80 million, $100 million, $150 million All-Star player before he ever makes that money. And you'll get a chance to see it here as if this is AA or AAA somewhere.
No doubt. And I understand people there are issues with Alex Box Stadium as of now. This is us being spoiled. Alex Box Stadium is a very, very, very impressive venue to go and play and watch a baseball game. Now,
there's issues with the PMAC, but it's sold out tonight.
No doubt.
Don't wait till they get to 20-0 to finally say, "Hey, let me go check them out."
Hey,
I'm telling you this. There is talent and great players on this team. Enjoy the scene and the situation is for what it is, and get your eyes on what's going to happen on the field in person, because there is some serious talent.
Here's the thing: there are issues in Tiger Stadium, but Nobody complains about them because it's fun. You build the atmosphere. The fans.
You expect the wins.
And you expect the win, right? Like you're going to see a good product, right? So my point in saying all of this is LSU baseball is always going to be here. They're always going to be elite. They are one of the top, probably the best baseball program in college baseball. There will be those updates that you are all clamoring for and wanting. They are happening, right? That is going to happen. They know, they have plans. They understand what needs to be done to make it more fan-friendly. I believe, and listen, I understand that the history of LSU baseball goes deep, right? So, fans are, have been fans of LSU baseball since the 80s, and, maybe a little bit of an older crowd sometimes, right? But there's a lot of young college students that want to go out and watch the game and be a little rowdy. Now, I think there needs to be an area for them so that everybody can enjoy the game in a situation. I'm just letting you know, everybody that's involved with LSU baseball that have, make decisions, they understand that. And they are going to make those changes for you. But you got to go show them that it's worth it.
Yep.
You got to go out and be out there, and you got to go and create an atmosphere that resembles the Alex Box Stadium that I grew up watching in the old box. I get it. The old box is a little different. It's a little bit louder. It's a little more on top of you. But hey, 09, it was pretty freaking loud.
I just, I challenge the fan base to return to what it's known for here, which is being there. Rain, shine, sleet, snow, wind, whatever, hot, being there and showing out as the fans that it's always been here, right? I'm telling you now, you are going to have a special product on the field. Don't wait until it's 20-0 or whatever it could be for you to finally say, man, this might be a good team. Let me show
Absolutely.
up. I'm telling you right now that it's going to be a special product. And as we've already touched on, there will be special products coming in to play against them as well.
Yep.
Get in there to go watch it because it's going to be supreme competition there.
Baseball is always easier on TV. It always looks easier on TV, right? You don't get the full – listen, same with NBA. If you watch the NBA, you're like, oh, these guys, they don't play any defense and they are lazy. And they go to a game and get close and watch them. Nobody's lazy.
Watch them run 4 miles.
Yeah. Nobody's lazy. They're physical. They're playing really hard defense. They are – it is very impressive, but you don't – same with hockey. Same with all these – when you're in person, you get a better appreciation for how talented and how good these players are. Now, I want to give an example. When we were here, and up until probably recently, COVID obviously hurt it a little bit, but there used to be something called the magic of Alex Box Stadium, right? Alex Box Stadium could win games for LSU whenever games they should not have, games they should not have won. Alex Box Stadium has won games for us, and I'll give an example of a game. I'm sure Jared has one. One of them, honestly, one of those examples was when y'all snapped y'all's 23-game losing streak. In the Super, y'all lost. Yeah. You had to win the next game. You were losing. What? No. Yeah, that's right? And y'all, you give this story before I give my story.
We were down, maybe 7-2 in an elimination game in either the 7th or 8th inning after winning 23 straight and that game getting snapped the night before.
Irvine, right?
The game getting snapped the night before. At that level of the season, or at that point of the season, the guys coming into the game, they're no slouches, right? To put up 5 runs in that situation,
hard. It's
very, very, very hard to do. But a lot of what we were able to do was because of the support we had and the atmosphere that the crowd brought to this. That if I dare to say, kids from UC Irvine who was probably drawing 1,500 all season, they've never been in that situation before in their life.
Hey, and I wasn't there. I was a senior in high school. I remember I was coming back from Monroe.
Yeah.
We had just finished a tournament. We were in a showcase tournament up in Monroe. We were coming back down, and I was listening to the game on the radio. Yeah. Right. I was driving. I had 2 or 3 of my teammates in my car, and we were listening to the game on the radio. And we were waiting for. I was like, damn, they're down 7-2. They can't. There's no way they're gonna go out like this, right? So then something happens. They get a hit. you score a run, you do some things, right? The crowd starts to get a little rowdy and they start feeling the momentum, right? So then they take over and it's loud as can be. You can hear it through the radio. You come up, I'll never forget because I've known you, right? So like I'm watching this unfold. You come up and you hit an absolute laser to the shortstop. Ground ball. Should have been an out. I mean, you agree? I mean, you crushed it. I'm not saying
right, the ball's hit right at
I'm
him,
not
like,
saying that if there was exit velo at the time, it was probably hit 110. Like you hammered it, just right at the shortstop. This is the most crucial point. This game, if this ball is fielded, y'all probably don't win.
Yeah. If he feels this ball and throws it and literally hits the first baseman in the chest, I could have been running my fastest. I'm still throwing out by 3 steps.
Yeah, right. You crushed it. So, but the moment got so big, the energy got so big that what happened, the shortstop absolutely booted the ball. Missed it. I think it chests him up. You beat it out. All of a sudden, now the crowd's going nuts. Come back. Y'all win the game. Walk off? No. Y'all win the game. The next day, y'all beat the crap out of them like 20-something to 6.
We beat him by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, right. So, but my point is the crowd, I believe, won that game for y'all because of, someone's coming in there and not used to that. Once that moment gets up, like, Monero, you said, don't get the tight bungie, right? Like,
gets a little.
Yeah, your butthole gets a little too tight because it's like, hey, I got to be perfect with the situation. And when the crowd's like that, now this was the old box, so they're on top of you. This guy misses it, and now at that point it's over. Let's fast forward 2 years. 2010, right? I'm a sophomore. We were playing opening series against Arkansas. Arkansas was a top 10 team, I believe, at the time. And we had just lost the first game. We lost Friday. Hanover got back picked at the end of the game. We were about to come back. I think we were down 1. He got back picked that second. Game over. We're losing the second game. I want to say it was like 8-1 or 8-2 in the 7th. And their starter is dealing. He's shoving. All of a sudden, he starts to get tired. We get a walk. We get a base hit. A run scores. And now the crowd's like kind of getting stirred up a little bit. It's now 8-2 or 8-3. The guy, now once the bullpens are moved off the field, it's going to be a little different, but the bullpen's on the field.
Right.
This guy is warming up. And he's throwing. Obviously, people are watching him. So some of the fans start talking a little shit. Next ball, all the way down. All the way down. Wow. 113.6. Is that good?
Jesus Christ.
That's unbelievable. That's Tommy White exit velo today. Was that today?
Yes.
You trying to get in front of that or no?
130. That ball's hurt. That ball's hurt. But my point is, so he throws one ball down, pass ball. Umpire has to call time, stop the game, get the ball back, all while their pitcher on the mound struggling to get out. The momentum is like whatever. Now he's got to sit and wait as the crowd starts to get louder. All right? Guy throws another pitch, time, ball. 3 straight wild pitches to the point where he stopped warming up. Now this pitcher walks another guy. They come and take him out. What do you think this pitcher did when he came in there? His butthole was so tight, he walked 3 guys, gave up a double, game over. We won the game.
Thanks for
won the
coming.
series on Sunday. I firmly believe that we won that game because of the fans. Because they made the atmosphere so rowdy and so pressure-filled that this guy got put himself. Now, if this guy goes out there and dots it up in the bullpen and the crowd doesn't get that way, maybe he comes in and has a great game. He panicked and lost the game.
And so here's why that matters, especially now, right? Where we watched an SEC that's grown with talent, that's grown with the notoriety, that is now starting to, almost kind of like football, is now starting to put out champion after champion after champion coming from this league, right? Well, these other schools are creating these atmospheres as well. And I do think personally that is what's helping a lot of the superiority stay in this league, because once you get out of here and you go play in another atmosphere, these guys are so used to this, right?
Yep.
But the point of it is if Ole Miss is creating this atmosphere and they got to come down here and play, well, you better be giving this to these kids here so they can really get used to playing in a crazy atmosphere like this, so they get that extra edge over them. When they go to Ole Miss, so they get that extra edge knowing that, hey, our place is louder than that place. So that whatever they can do, whatever they can say, it really doesn't matter because our place gets crazier.
Right.
Give the edge.
No doubt.
The edge has always been here at this school. Keep the edge here. It's
important.
Because it matters.
It's important.
It matters.
And the players feed off of it. I'm not saying just us, right? Like, I'm not saying that, do it just because of the players, but that's what made LSU and Alex Box Stadium so special.
And if you want to make just like you said, if you want to make a special appearance, a special situation for yourself of being there, do something memorable.
Yeah.
Enjoy it that way. Enjoy it collectively that way. And I promise you walk out of there and say, what time we coming back tomorrow? Because that shit was fun.
Yep.
I want to do that again.
Exactly. Tailgate. It's going to be fun. I mean, it's just baseball to me is one of the better sports to go out there and be a part of in person because you don't necessarily have to be locked into every single play. It's a longer game. I get that. Some people don't like that. But you go out there, you get some drinks. Obviously, they sell beer. You go have some food. You go do some things. You can walk around. You can do some. It's just you're outside. You're part of, an atmosphere. I think that baseball is one of those sports where like it's more fun when you're actually there in person than watching it on TV. And I know the players appreciate it.
And please, please, please don't take this as a slight to the past teams that have been here the past 5 to 6 years. But you have a really, really talented team this year.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the record says I should show up. I promise you'll want to see it from the start.
No doubt.
Get in there and see it.
Jared said you have 3 guys that could potentially hit 3. I mean, more than 3, but he thinks that they'll have 3 guys on the team hit 20 plus. Now, the combination of 3, who knows? I think there's someone on the team that could hit 30 this year. Like, they have that ability to do that. They have the talent. They have the lineup protection to do that. And you're going to have a lot of games where your pitching staff is dominating the other pitching staff, and you're going to get into this rhythm, and you're going to start to see, like, damn, we just put up a 3 spot, and then our guy just struck out the side, and we just put up another 3 spot. And once that happens, like, you're starting to get put into the bullpen that teams don't really have.
Yep.
And that's when you start seeing these numbers just skyrocket. Now, some people are getting a little overzealous and saying that there's a chance that I think that – not me, I'm not saying this. They're saying that there's a chance that the LSU season team total home run record could be broken this year. I don't know if I'm on that train. Now, maybe, but that record is 188, right? It's a lot, right? That's a lot. I think Tennessee hit like 150 last year and seemed like they hit nothing but homers. 188 was the record, I think, was in 1997 or 1998. And they had guys on that team hit 40, 30. Like they had, and this is when they had the drop 5 huge barrel. Like these balls were absolutely getting launched. 188 home runs is a lot. I mean, if you do the math, you play 56 regular season games. Let's say you go all the way to Omaha and you play the max. We played the max amount of games you can play. In 2009, we went 56 and 17. What is that? That's 66 plus 7, 73 games.
Yeah, 73.
So let's say they play 73 games.
Let's just say you play 70.
70 games.
Let's just say you play 70.
70 games. That means you are hitting 2.5 home runs a game. 2.5.
What's the record again?
188.
Yeah, over 2.5.
What is it? 2.2?
Almost 2.7.
Yeah. So almost 3 home runs a game. You're almost hitting 3 home runs a game.
So if you show up to one and they don't hit one, they're probably gonna hit 4 the next game.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and I'm not saying
that's where it's at.
And I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying that's a lofty expectation, which goes.
But it
to
also
show
shows you what kind of team that they have here.
Exactly.
So
go out and watch them, support them. This is just my intro into the college baseball conversation. We are going to talk majority
specifics.
LSU. And we'll talk specifics, but we're also going to talk about some other college baseball because, listen, there's a lot of talent in the college baseball, especially in the SEC. So we're going to stick in the SEC. We're going to 90% of the conversation is going to be about LSU, but LSU has to play these teams. Don't you want to know about some of these guys that you're going to be able to go see? Don't you want to know about some of these other first-rounders that are going to be coming in? Ole Miss is ranked in the top 5. They got probably 3 first-rounders on their team.
Yeah.
Tennessee's coming in. They probably got 3 or 4 first-rounders on their team. You have a lot of talent. We're going to see all these guys. We're going to talk about all these guys. We're going to talk to some of these guys, hopefully. And we're going to give you the baseball content that we believe
that you've been looking for.
Yeah, that we believe that you need.
Yeah.
But until then, it's January 30th. Once February starts, to me, it's baseball season at that point, college baseball season. So that was just a little bit of a preview tease into what we're going to have and what we're going to talk about. But we're going to take a 30-second break, kind of get regathered, take you on the back half of the show, the second hour 2. But before we go into our break, I want to give a shout out to, like I said, we talk about us getting new partners, new sponsorships all the time. We have a new sponsor, and you've probably seen them on the top left corner in the little spinner logo, FCO Solutions. Our friends on at FCO, they're out of Lafayette. They're a civil construction company. They specialize in new multi-family construction, right? If you don't know what civil construction is, it's okay. Probably a lot of people don't understand it. They basically get the land ready to be built vertically, right? I'm giving you a little bit of a construction lesson here. I don't know much about it. I've learned it on the go, right? They specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthworks, site cleaning, house pads, ponds, demo work, and hurricane cleanup. So they do anything that involves dirt, basically, or the earth. And a lot of that gets done before. It has to be done before you are building whatever development you are trying to build. So our friends at EFCO have been fans of the show. They are really, really good people. They are down there in Lafayette. If you know anybody from Lafayette, you do know me. Mitch is from New Iberia. I'll consider that Lafayette's 337 area code.
There you go.
337 area code. They are unbelievable people. They do a very, very, very good job, and they are committed to growing and being the best at what they do. So I just want to give a shout out to our friends at EFCO. I know that they listen. Appreciate you guys. We are going to be great partnerships. All right. That's how we're going to go into our break. 30-second break. We'll be back. You're watching Mik'd Up. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become a life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. If you missed the first hour of the show, it's okay. It's recorded on YouTube. You can go back and watch it and listen to it. I'm joined again. Welcome back to the show, Jared Mitchell. I am very thankful that Jared is here. I'm thankful for you, Stewie. I am thankful for you. Next man up mentality. Lloyd is on hiatus, and you are filling in very nicely. I appreciate that. I am very happy that Jared is back. I know that you probably, whoever's watching or listening, is very happy that Jared is back because for the last week, you've heard me literally talk the entire time. We've had a couple interviews. Colby Touye. Colby was on.
God, I missed him.
I know. He was on. He talked about he made me want to just go work. He wanted me to go back and play.
We got to get you back on.
We're going to get him back on.
We got to get you back on.
That's what I said. Whenever he got off, I was like, damn. I wish Jared was on for this because Jared was part of that group that was training with him, and he understands the value of him and what he's done, and to see him blow up and do what he's doing. And now he's training 2 MVPs.
Yep.
Baseball MVPs. Well, one has not won MVP until he started training with him.
Yep.
And then won the MVP at 35.
Yep.
Best year of his life.
Best year of his life. And he's had a great career.
Great career at 35. No big deal. He's training Tiger Woods, who reached out to him, said, hey, I need you to train me and get me back on the field after I almost lost my leg.
Yep.
Which, impressive. Justin Thomas, one of the best golfers in the world, trains him. I think he trains Dustin Johnson. Listen, if you're a top golfer, you probably train with him. He trains. He talked about Drew Lock. He trained quarterbacks. He trained Matt Flynn when Matt Flynn was in the NFL. He trained Ridley when Ridley was in the NFL. He trained Demaryius Thomas, RIP, when Demaryius Thomas was in the NFL. This guy's the G.
If you're on the professional athlete circuit, you know who he is.
No doubt.
Just
Your
put it
boy,
like that.
Big Spence. What?
Big Spence.
Big Spence.
If you let him tell a story, Big Spence.
Big Spence. He trains with him. Deontay Spencer, friend of the show, friend
Yeah.
of ours, friend of yours, who's now a friend of ours, friend of the show, punt returner, wide receiver for the Jets.
Yep.
He trained with him. He does a lot, but he was on. I talked with him. We had some nice interviews. There will be a lot of those clips that will be posted throughout the course of this week. But now that Jared's back, we can have conversation. You don't have to listen to just me talk about the nonsense that I was talking about. But it's gonna have now we're back on the regular scheduled programs. We're gonna start having our shows on Friday. We're gonna have 3 days a week. I was just waiting for all the crew to get back, and it looks like we're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're missing one, but we're almost there.
Shouldn't be much longer. Hopefully,
Got a great feeling, but we're missing one. But we're almost there.
Yep. And look, I was at a wedding. People were enjoying the show. People were talking about, hey, where's Lloyd? Asking questions, saying that they kind of like, hey, Lloyd's dynamic with you and Jared are great. Like, I think that is obviously people are missing out on Lloyd. And,
I respect it.
Yeah, me too. And listen, Lloyd has a role, and his role is a little bit more than just producing. I think he's more of the co-host too, and he brings a personality, and it's good. It's good for the show. It's a different perspective, and Lloyd's great at making fun of himself, and it brings levity.
Banner.
He brings levity to the situations.
Yeah.
Sometimes, in a situation where he doesn't need to bring levity,
he would bring a lot of levity to this Stetson Bennett situation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wish he was on. That's what I kind of wish he was on.
This would be a day for him right here, talking about him, huh?
Let's talk about Stetson Bennett a little bit. So Stetson is 25. Just got out of college.
I thought he was like 29.
Maybe 29.
35.
Maybe he's like the
37.
Dominicans.
I thought he sold insurance for like 6 years before he came back.
And 25, you'd imagine, like 25, you're starting to get to that next level. I mean, next chapter of your life. You're kind of getting past the college life, which normal 25-year-olds are.
That's why he was in Dallas.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And you're starting to get to like the, hey, I'm gonna start getting into the real world stuff. You can now rent a car without having your parents co-sign on it. Like, you're growing up, right? Now you're starting to make some money. Maybe you buy your first place or whatever you're doing. Stetson's getting ready for the NFL. He had a decorated career, won 2-time national champion. He ends up in Dallas.
Now
training.
a mid-round projectee too. Now,
yeah, that's what he's projected in the mid-rounds.
Yeah,
third.
Kuiper's giving him a lot of love.
Kuiper got him as a third rounder.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So Stetson
I got the video ready for
is
you,
in. I appreciate it. Stetson is in Dallas training. Right. He was arrested at 7:10 a.m. Eastern time, which Dallas is in Central, so 6:10 in the morning.
Yeah.
I've
been out in Dallas some nights.
Misdemeanor public intoxication.
Yeah, I've been out in Dallas a good number of nights. Boy, you got to be on the circuit if you're out at 6 a.m.
The only time I don't even know, I can't even tell you if I've ever been
Dallas
out
ain't Vegas now
until 6. Now Vegas. Now there's been a couple of New Orleans times. Yeah. Back in my younger
Maybe
days,
some Miami days.
I was younger than 25 when I was
Maybe
doing
some
this.
Miami days. Maybe New York.
Yeah,
Dallas.
I've never done New
great
York.
time.
I've never done
Dallas
that
is a great time.
Yeah, 6 a.m.
is you getting after.
That's
He
tough.
was hunting.
Hey,
That's
you
tough.
You would the fuck around gang at 6 a.m.
Yeah. So he gets arrested, right, for a misdemeanor public intoxication. He gets booked, goes into prison, goes in the drunk tank, basically,
Right.
and has to recover. I wish Lloyd was here because Lloyd has been in that situation.
He has.
Lloyd has been in jail for the drunk tank
Blow into this.
and come out. the next day, you see the video of him walking out with the hoodie on. Like, boy, this guy is hurting. He is. That's got to be the worst hangover you've ever had. I've had bad hangovers where I'm like, damn, I'm miserable. Why did I do this? Like, woke up and you're feeling like kind of reevaluating your life. That's got to be next level. Like, damn, not only am I hungover, but I'm hungover leaving jail, right? I had to recover in jail behind bars. No, you're not in like hardcore prison, obviously. You're just trying to recover to misdemeanor, but not a good look for old Stetson. You got the video?
Yes. I got both of the videos.
Yeah, run
him
that.
getting
Let's
arrested
run that.
and him leaving jail.
Let's go ahead and run that.
Wait, is this him? I thought this was Baker.
No, this is him.
Oh, this is Baker. Huh?
That's Baker.
Are we sure that's Baker?
I'm pretty
I think
sure
that's
that's
the
Baker.
Baker. I think this is the Baker video.
I'm done. Are you kidding me? I'm done. I didn't put your hand behind your back.
I thought this was the Baker Mayfield video.
I don't know. The scene looks like Baker, but I don't remember all that happening in the Baker Mayfield situation.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that is Baker.
see?
This is Steady
Okay, this is the one I was talking about.
leaving jail.
So this is him leaving. This is
Made you look pump fake. Here we go. Oh.
head down. Yeah,
Nice
drink.
bottle
You
of
gotta
water.
hydrate. Gotta
Yeah,
hydrate.
yeah.
Gotta hydrate. You know that people are probably looking at you, and
Nice
Not
pace
good.
on the wall.
And this
Yeah.
is after at the Georgia like championship parade. The fans were mad at him because they said he was on his phone the whole time, like he wasn't even like worried about.
yeah. But then he said he was on the aux cord.
Yeah, but it's
That's what he
like,
said.
bro, enjoy the moment. Like, don't be an asshole. Like,
Listen.
fans were calling his name. He wouldn't speak back to him.
I will
like,
say this: if you are on the aux, or if you are not aux cord, if you're on the Bluetooth
Yeah.
and you're controlling the thing, you get that playlist queued up
Yeah.
before you're on the float and you're enjoying the float. That's all I'm saying. If I know that if I was said, hey, you're in charge of the music, I'd have my playlist queued up. Now, if somebody wanted to make a change, that's one thing. But if you're on it the whole time, oh, you didn't do it right. You didn't prepare. So yeah, he's had some incidents lately. I know people don't like him, right? I mean, he rubs people the wrong way. I don't know.
Outside of
you know,
Georgia.
outside of Georgia, right? Like people, like if you're just watching and you're a fan,
They're not homers.
yeah, you may not like him because of the way he goes about things and how he does some stuff, and that's fine. You don't have to like everybody. Everybody has the right to their opinion, but he's not helping his situation by doing these types of things. He had a great career at Georgia. Seems like he's going to have an opportunity in the NFL if he's projected in the third round, but
Doesn't help us.
this
King.
doesn't help. And apparently he was just knocking on doors at 6 o'clock in the morning, hammered. Is he lost, or is he
My
trying to
man
find
was-
his place? Or?
My man
It's
was.
a lost art of knocking on
Yeah,
doors.
he was.
I mean-
he was hunting.
Is that what he was doing, you think? Or you think that he... I mean, why are you just banging on... Maybe.
I mean, he was waiting on that "you up" text to hit back.
So he's just going to bang on the doors?
He went old school you up text.
Or he got the text and knew where they were at, but they must have passed out and then didn't tell him what room number they were in. He was trying to figure it
No,
out.
they just didn't leave the door unlocked
Yeah.
or the key under the mat. They,
Like, now I'm locked out.
That's tough. That's
Ended up in jail.
That's tough. That's tough. I'm trying to see. There's
now
no
y'all
really
got me.
other details.
Now
on
y'all got
this.
me on the paddy wagon over here. Oh man,
Oh,
that's tough.
Stetson. That's tough. That's a tough situation.
I bet he wish he would have went to the Senior Bowl now.
Yeah,
See, in a football sense, ain't no reason for him to go to the Senior Bowl. But now after this, maybe he should have gone. Listen, you could have gone to Senior Bowl and say, "I'm just going to work out. I'm just not going to play in the game."
I don't know, man. I think there is. I think there was. I think he should have gone to see.
Yeah, but is he gonna increase his drafts? If he's projected third round, is it gonna get any higher?
I mean,
Well, it's
I-
projected third round by Mel
I think-
Kiper.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're right.
But,
You're
like,
right.
I
I think
think-
Mel's starting to lose his luster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
just
Senior
one
Bowl is
publication.
more of like you getting like teams getting to know you better. Like
True.
he
There's
coulda-
a
That's
whole
true.
bunch of that
That's
goes
true.
on
yeah,
there.
he
That's
could have
true.
helped himself by like teams
very-
getting to know him and like knowing
very
like
good point.
okay,
And
Stetson Bennett's not an asshole.
And let's be completely honest too. And I'm not saying that he's going to be that when he gets to the league, but let's not act like over his success at Georgia, he was this big prolific passer and he was literally the main reason. And I'm not saying that that's what he has to be at the next level. But what I am saying is that if he was able to go to the Senior Bowl, have a little continuity with some of these guys, show that he's a able passer, I think it would help him a good bit.
I agree.
Right?
Somebody would have fell in love with him.
Right? So, and I think that would have, personally, I think that would have maybe propelled him to that third round spot, because I've said this all along, and I truly do believe this when I think about Stetson, right? I think about if you go blind profile and you just look at size, and I see Bryce Young, and I see Stetson Bennett, and I just look at their measurables, right? And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, all right, so we're looking at pretty much the same thing. And then I watch one play, and I watch the other play, and I watch the success they've both had. It's hard for me to believe that one can be a top 2 quarterback, and the other one is a non-drafted free agent.
And
So
one
he's
Because right, the
somewhere-
style of play is very similar.
So I don't know if he. I'm not going to sit here and say I think he's a 3rd rounder. I do think he should get drafted somewhere, right? But there's a lot of people that don't think she should even have that. They say, oh, maybe he'll get a chance in this and that, and he should probably. I do think there's a spot for him somewhere in the NFL. Where it'll go success-wise,
Right.
I don't know. But I think he's proven through his play over the time,
He's earned that
regardless of
opportunity.
what talent's been around him, that he's a winner
No doubt.
and that he's earned an opportunity.
did
I
beat
do
Bryce
think
Young
that.
last year.
Yeah. There you go.
I agree with that.
There you go.
100% agree with that. I mean, he deserves an opportunity.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And that
he's-
opportunity would probably be served best if there were maybe was the Senior Bowl and maybe no
public intoxication.
No public intoxication.
But listen, it's easy to say, oh, he's young, he's 21, he's 25. We should know a little better than that. Let's stick on the college football route. You know, it's not college football season. It's almost draft season, right? They're started 3 months.
April.
It's in April. So 2.5 months or so. The draft is going to happen maybe the end of April.
I think mid-April, right?
Yeah, mid-April,
Mid-April,
something like
something
that,
like
right? So it's not really college football season, but listen, we talked about what we wanted to talk about early on. We have a lot of stuff coming up, so let's just hit on it. ESPN came out, and I mean, this is no surprise, I don't think, to any of us. They call Harold Perkins a defensive player to watch, probably put the defensive player to watch. You obviously would expect Harold to make a huge jump next year, understanding more of the schematic, understand schematically more of the defense, right? Like being able to say, okay, hey, I'm not just a pure athlete. I'm just going to go get the passer. Like understand how to be an all-around linebacker. I think that you're going to see him make that jump. So that's not very surprising to me, but it's going to be really, really fun to watch his development and see how much better he is, because he's going to be a sophomore, and I'd imagine after that he's going to be projected in the top 5-10 picks overall in the draft. I don't think you'll ever see a linebacker. Maybe. Will Anderson, I guess, consider a linebacker, but he's more of an edge rusher.
Edge guy.
Yeah, he's going to be potentially 1 overall. I don't think he's going to go 1 overall, but potentially. Harold Perkins could be in that same conversation. But that's really all college football we got. Now, this is more about LSU and not just college football. LSU just announced, Scott Woodward came out with a press conference and announced that they are finalizing their NIL collective called Bayou Traditions. So they've, obviously everybody's understood that the collectives have been a thing around college football. That's the way that you are going to recruit and you're going to be able to control the NIL stuff. LSU has obviously had a collection. They have been in the NIL game. You see Gordon all the time out there doing his thing, which he came on here last week and explained, how the ins and outs of what he looks for in an athlete, how he structures the deal, why he structures the way he structures it. So he's been very vocal. He's been kind of the leader in this, but there are a lot more businesses and owners and LSU people behind the collective that you don't really hear about. And now they've created the Bayou Traditions for the collective. They've rebranded it, kind of made it into an official thing. Scott Woodward comes out and announces it, which makes it obviously official. And this is a way to, get everybody involved with LSU sports. Obviously LSU football is the one that takes the cake, but there's stuff out there for LSU baseball. There's people behind LSU baseball right now. You obviously, Gordon has the deal with LSU women's basketball. Men's basketball has stuff out there. This is going to happen to everywhere, but the collective, Bayou Traditions, is going to be huge for LSU, and I think that, it's something that is a necessity, right? And I think that's going to be it's been happening, but now it's more evident, and it's more in the public eye, which is, I think, always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you do it
pretty
the right
much
way.
at this point, it's pretty much be a part of the game or get left, right?
Yep.
That's where the top of the game is, whether you like it, whether you hate it. It is in the rules, and it's well accepted in the rules. So you're either going to be a part of it or you're going to fall behind. And so, finding ways to get the community involved in being a part of the collective by doing this, I think is a huge thing for LSU, and it's more inclusive,
Yep.
And it's going to help them be where they honestly deserve and need to be.
Also, and this is actually a very good point on the college football with the collective conversation. Allie sent me this yesterday. She goes, "You should talk about this on the show," which I did want to talk about it. The news about Nick Saban. Anybody read that?
I did.
I love it.
I love it.
What happened
Love
with
it.
Nick Saban?
So Nick Saban,
I love it.
there's an article. Nick Saban, there were two players. One was a current player, one was a recruit. That he basically told to leave or rejected them because they were requesting $1.3 million combined in NIL money. Right? So one of them
Go ahead.
One of them was an offensive lineman, right? So let me go through like the snippet of the article. One of the best corners in the nation coming out of high school asked Nick Saban if they'd pay him $800,000 for him to sign here. Saban said, "Go find another place to play," right? And then
That is.
what's that?
I think I know who that is.
And so then I'm gonna go back. I want to read the article. I'm gonna tell you what it says, and then I'm gonna go back and tell you kind of a little bit more in depth, right? Then he had a player that he was playing for him, offensive lineman, I believe, and I'm laughing because it's unbelievable that he thought that. So this player wanted $500,000 in NIL money to stay at Alabama, but he also wanted to get his girlfriend into law school at Alabama and for them to pay for it. Nick Saban said, and I showed this man the door, right? And his situation, or his comment was, "I'm not going to pay a player or an athlete out of high school to come and play for me when he hasn't done anything," which has been the thing that we have been talking about from the beginning. I love the fact that players are able to get paid, but to be able to go out there and get someone to come, a high school kid to come to college and pay him all this money, right? I get it. NIL is a thing. You're going to have to pay him a little bit, right? That's just the way it goes. But to go out and pay this kid all this money that, some people work their whole lives and don't make that in a year, right? They're asking for this money without actually having done anything, right? You're a high school kid. You don't know if you're going to pan out. You don't know if, you're going to be any good. You haven't played against this competition. So he says, "No, I'm not going to do it," refuse to pay it. Obviously, they're still paying NIL money. But the obnoxious price tags, he said, I ain't doing that. And the gumption and the, audacity to ask, "Hey, I want my girlfriend to go to law school and I want you to pay for it." Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. That to me is ridiculous.
The amount of, to me, entitlement that's behind that, and not understanding that you're here for a quote-unquote job, which is to be a student athlete yourself, right? And to think that you have the pull or whatever you want to call it to be able to include something that has nothing to do with what you're there to do is, to me, is just outrageous. Outrageous. You're not only asking for them to take care of basically your situation, which is you on the field, maybe you being able to help your parents and family see you play and or them being able to do it. But now you want them to basically pay for and make sure she gets into what we don't even know if she's qualified for.
Right.
That's just crazy to me.
Listen, if you go out and you play and you earn it on the field and you say, "Hey, I'm going out there and I'm playing," and you're worth $2 million, good. I hope you get it. I have no problem. But to go out there and say, "Bro, I was a 5-star athlete at a high school,
and I'm gonna just tell you this,
$700,000
hey,
school,"
and I'm gonna just tell you this too. Now, if they come to you and they offer that to you, who are you to say, "Nah, I don't deserve it. Keep your money"?
Right, that's different.
I completely understand you taking it.
Yep, no doubt.
But to show up, to not have ever played a college ball game and have a demanding price, is wild to me.
Because here's the deal.
That's crazy to me.
Here's the deal, and here's my other thing about it, right?
And if your price is based off of, just to finish, if your price is based off of this is what other teams have offered me, good for you. But I don't think that's something you should be shopping around like that.
Right, and because this is why.
That's just me.
Because at the end of the day, and we've seen it, you've seen talented teams. Talented players go to teams, and they have a bunch of talent, but they stink. Right? Not because the players aren't good, but because they're not really a team. They're not really bought into each other, not bought into the coaching staff. They're not there for the right reasons. Maybe they're selfish and they just want to get to the NFL and they don't really care about the other stuff. Which, listen, I'm not coming off as like, oh, the old man. Like, I think players should get paid. I think if they earn it, they should get it. I have no problem with NIL. I have no problem with paying the players. But I also understand I've been on really good teams and I've been on really bad teams. And the really good teams, everybody is bought in. Everybody wants to be there for one specific reason, and that's to go and win, right? And I've been on teams that aren't good. And the teams that aren't good, some of them have been more talented than the teams that were good. But they didn't win because the guys that were on board, all they cared about was, did I get my numbers today? Or, what is my endorsement deals are going to look like? Or what's my contract going to look like? All these types of things, right? Now, coincidentally, the teams that bought into it and said, hey, we're going to go out there and win, ended up getting paid more, had more endorsement deals. Because why? Because they won. And because their numbers were better because they weren't worried about being selfish, right? Now, that's just the normal, and that's kind of where I'm getting to with this point is if you're trying to come out to college and you're going to go to Nick Saban, who is the best college football coach of all time. I don't think there's an argument on that anymore. Best college football coach of all time, and you're going to walk into this man's office and you're going to say, hey, you know what? It's going to take $800,000 for me to come and play football at your school. Get the hell out of here, man. You know why? Because that means you don't want to come here for the right reasons. I have no problem paying you if that's the point of it, right? Like if I offered you some money for NIL and that's just the way it works, that's great. But if you're going to come here and you say, I'm only coming here because I got offered this money somewhere else and I'm only going to come here if you offer it, then go somewhere else because you're not coming here for the right reason.
And I'll just say this too, because sometimes you got to get outside of yourself and take a look at the situation from a broader view, right? So I appreciate every bit of confidence, maybe even the cockiness that a kid may have in himself and his ability to do whatever he can do, right? But now I'll flip it to you this way. If you really think you can go into, and let's just be honest, let's call a spade, a man, the greatest college football coach's office, who's had how many 5-stars come through that office? How many first-rounders come through that office? And basically put a price on your own head that he didn't give to you? Where do you think that he's going to look at you coming in there and be like, hey, man, we already got 15, 20 of you. I got a couple more of you behind you. I've done it without ever having to do this. So what makes you think you could walk in and put a price like that on your head and I'm just going to succumb to whatever you say?
Right.
Walk. I got plenty of you.
No doubt.
I'll do it again.
No doubt.
Like
No
that to me, when I say step outside of yourself is, I don't mean any slight to anyone, but like you didn't walk into the recruiting office at Purdue.
Right.
With that price tag. And maybe you did. And maybe they said, we'll give you whatever you want.
Yep.
Maybe you walked into Nebraska and they said, we'll give you whatever you want. That's a little bit different room than the other room.
And I'm willing to bet that Saban is promising these kids, hey, listen, you come here and you perform. You will have the opportunity to make as much money as you want.
And for me, I guess that's where I am with this thing too. At the end of the day, like I am all for every single one of these kids getting every dollar that they can. It's crazy to me that it could be given to them before they ever earn a dollar for the school.
Right.
Because realistically, when it comes to your football career or whatever sport it is, at the high school level, you haven't done shit.
Well, and that's kind of how
I don't care how good you've been, you haven't done anything.
You haven't. And that's kind of how NIL started, right? Oh, players should get paid because of all the money they are generating for the school because of all of the wins and the jersey sales and the ticket sales and all of this kind of stuff. TV deals. Why do you think the SEC has the biggest TV deals? Because they have the best players and they have the best product. That's because the players on the field and what they've done, right? That's why the conversation started, These schools are making all this money off the players' backs, and they're not getting anything. All right, I agree with that. They should get paid for the ability to go out there and build the brand of the school. These kids aren't building shit. They're only going to these schools because of what the people before them have built.
Coming in as a freshman, you haven't built any.
You haven't done anything.
You haven't done any of that.
Nothing. You haven't. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to, but you
I'm
haven't.
not saying you're not going, but you haven't yet. So what's wrong with earning your food? That's usually how it's supposed to go, right? Like you don't just show up with the food on the plate.
I mean, my example is like, listen, I played in Major League Baseball. How many endorsement deals did I have that made a bunch of money? None. The only endorsement deal I had, I was an Adidas athlete. It wasn't even like I got paid a ton, right? But when I was on the field, I played in Detroit with some of the best players in the world. Hall of Famers. Miguel Cabrera is a Hall of Famer. Justin Verlander is a Hall of Famer. Ian Kinsler, maybe not a Hall of Famer, but borderline. Justin Upton was an all-star. Victor Martinez is an all-star. JD Martinez, all-star. Nick Castellanos, all-star. Damn, how the fuck did we not win? But had all those guys on the same team. But you had all these guys. They made a whole hell of a lot more money than I did in endorsements. Yeah. Why? Because they earned it on the field. They produced on the field, and that is how you get paid in the real life. You don't get paid just because you're supposed to be good or just because, we're going to pay you to come to our school after not showing anything. Now, if you're a free agent, you get paid to come to our team because of what you've done.
And I'll say this too, like you only see those situations like with super young guys that come up really quick and really early, and they give those guys like that kid may show up like the Bryce Harper in his rookie or second year in the league probably had a whole bunch of boxes and endorsement deals and stuff in front of his locker. You want to know why though? It was because of the name that he's built, and you're sitting here saying, "Oh, well, he was a high schooler and this and that." Yeah, but they were expecting him to stay there for 15 years.
Right.
They were expecting to put a mural of him outside of the stadium. You're going to be in that college for 3 years, bro. And guess what? The next one of you is coming.
Yep.
You're not investing. You're not putting in the same amount of time. So this isn't the same scale and the same situation as you see in Pro Bowl.
They also paid Bryce Harper $9 million.
But my point is you can't sit here and compare it because it's not the same.
Right.
Right? You're not there. These people are putting the Bryce Harper comes up and like you said, he's getting paid the $8 and $9 million and he's getting pushed and he gets to the big leagues earlier and he's getting these deals earlier because they're expecting him to be the next Mr. National.
Right.
They're expecting him to spend 15 years in a Nationals uniform.
And you know what?
I don't care how good you'll be at Alabama or any college, and probably the better you are, you ain't spending 5, 6, 7 years there.
Right. Right.
So that in the big scheme of it, whether you like it or not, you're almost a flash in the pan in a college career, in the sense of your time span that you're going to spend there. Why would they give you that kind of why should a university like that give you that kind of money, knowing the history of the guys, the caliber of guys they've brought in, and who they're going to keep bringing in?
Right.
You're not you may be the crown jewel of that class, but they've had many crown jewels.
No doubt.
And they're going to keep having many crown jewels.
No doubt.
And to not understand that was the situation that you were going into and then to say that's crazy.
I mean, my whole thing is, listen, if I'm going to go pick a school, and if I was coming out right now and I was getting offers and I was getting NIL stuff, that's fine, whatever. But if I was going to pick a school, my ultimate goal coming out of high school, right, when I came to LSU, my ultimate goal was to get to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
That was my goal, right? LSU was a love of mine. I wanted to be here. I loved every second I was here, right? But I thought it was my best opportunity, one, because I grew up in it, but I thought it was my best opportunity to get to the next level, to develop, be the guy that I wanted to, win, and then go and play professional baseball and get to Major League Baseball. Yeah. That was the crux of my decision, right? Like, where can I go where I know that I'm going to be able to put myself in the best situation to get to the next level? Because at the end of the day, that's where you make all the money, right? You can make some money in college and all this stuff, and that'd be great. But at the end of the day, if your goal is not to get to the next level, then what are you really doing?
Well, not even if your goal is not to. If your top priority is to monetize yourself the best at the collegiate level, I can tell you right now, in my opinion, and I would imagine a lot of expert's opinion in this thing is you're approaching this thing with the wrong mindset.
Yep.
Can it be a goal? Can it be on the go? Sure, especially today. Nothing wrong with that. But if that is your top priority, if that is what you're looking for to make your decision at this level, you're probably approaching it with the wrong mindset.
100%. Couldn't agree more. That's all I got. That's all I got to say about that.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
That's it.
Go get your dollars though.
I mean, I'm not like I'm
But
not
and
mad
I
at
mean
you.
that, like,
I'm not
but go
mad
get
at
your
you.
dollars though.
I'm not mad at you to go get paid.
Yeah.
I am not. But I respect what Saban did. I agree with what Saban did because there's got to be a different way of looking
And
at
I understand that everybody can't do what Saban did in
Right.
that situation.
Right.
Which is maybe why you got Lane Kiffin retweeting it, because he's like, well, if he ain't gonna give it to him, maybe if I show him some love, they'll come here instead, because we not getting all of them.
Right. Or maybe Lane Kiffin retweeted because I thought the same thing. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Plays both ways for him
Who
though.
knows? Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
there you go.
That was a great way to end the show, I think. Well, we got the Seggies, but it's a good show. I'm glad you're back. It makes
rolling
me
Back in the saddle, we cooking now, baby.
It makes my show
Cooking with hot fish grease.
It makes the job easier. It makes the show better. God, man, thank God, Stewie. Thankful for you too. Let's go through the Seggies. So we got Curtain Call. Curtain Call is brought to you by our friends at Doe's Eat Place. I actually went to lunch at Doe's last week. I hadn't had a Doe's hamburger in a minute. Went there for lunch.
I got to show up there. I haven't been there.
Yeah, we're gonna have. I already talked to him. We're gonna have a little commercial there. Have a little lunch spot. We had I had a little business lunch at Doe's. We had some burgers. I got the bacon cheeseburger, which is absolute fire. Obviously, they don't just have burgers. They only have burgers for lunch. They have steaks. But our friends at Doe's Eat Place, they are great people. It's a great restaurant. Unbelievable food, and the atmosphere is awesome. Right? You can go sit in the back. You can go there for business lunch. You can go there for a casual lunch. You can go there with your friends. It's a great place to be. So thankful for our friends at Doe's. And this segment, Curtain Call, is brought to you by our friends at Doe's. Let's go through them. You got one?
Do I have one?
Yep. You don't have to have one if you don't have one.
I really don't.
Okay. No Curtain Call. You got one?
Yeah, man. I kind of got two. The first one is kind of some low-hanging fruit, right? But I want to give props to Jalen Hurts because that guy's he's crawled his way kind of like to the top of the mountain, has been literally pushed back down in some very, 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 very spotlight, limelight situations. And for him to break through where he is right now with the opportunity to play on the biggest stage, and let's be honest, I don't think anyone's going to be replacing him at halftime on that roster, right? Nope. So win or lose is going to be a lot about his play. For him to be in a situation like that, I think takes some big nuts.
And to do it without saying anything.
Yeah, he's always
he
been
never
humble.
bitched or complained.
He's never been a bitcher. He's never complained. Like, I give props.
He's
to
never been a
like
bitch
that.
either.
Never that. So I give props to him. That's one. The second one is seemingly to the minute for me, because I haven't seen anything else about it. The entire Bengals team for dealing with the situation that happened outside of the locker room, right?
I wish they would stop filming that shit.
No, that's okay. So let me get to it. So for me, as a player, it's the gift and the curse, right? Like, you don't know if the coach's speech, whether you win or lose, if right outside the locker room, if at your boy's locker, if by the time you get off, you don't know where the cameras stop. The cameras that matter, the cameras that don't matter, you don't know where they stop. So when I analyzed and watched that, and the part of that they keep playing was him saying, basically in a way kind of pointing blame at the player, at Osai, right? It seems like to me, because if you go back and look at it, Zach Taylor is passing right in front of him. He doesn't even budge. He doesn't even look over his shoulder. His eyebrows don't raise. It almost seems like that is how they've dealt with accountability as a team all year. And if you look at the interview with the two players after,
I'm glad you said that.
It didn't seem like either one of them had any ill feel towards that guy. And if you watch the bigger version of that part, he basically before, they give you the one little quote, but they didn't give you on all the videos, they don't give you what happened before, and they obviously don't give you what happened after. But before, he said, "This is my last year." So you can understand why something like that would cut him that way. Because if you watch the play, I'm pretty sure he wasn't on the field, and if he was on the sideline, he wasn't where the play happened at.
No, he
So
was
pro-
he was like right behind Pratt.
Yeah.
He was like right behind Osai. Like they
Oh,
are
was he on the
running.
field?
They're like going to meet Pat Mahomes almost.
I was trying to watch it again, and I didn't see him on the field. That's why I was saying. But even if so if he's on the field, then there's probably he's got the behind view. He's going a million miles an hour, right? So he doesn't know. He probably thinks he's way out of bounds if that's the call that got
Right,
that got called.
of course.
My point to it is by the reaction of Zach Taylor, by the reaction of those two players, and you haven't seen anything else come out about it. It seems like they've always they don't have a problem with getting in each other's face and holding each other accountable for situations, and it didn't seem like any love was lost in that.
Right.
And I tip my hat because the way that was put out into the media, it could have easily blown something up. Right? And I get it, the season's over. They won't play again for another 8 months or whatever, 5, whatever. But I appreciate the way that they've kept that in house, and it seems like they're cool. It's all good. Whether he's there or not, who knows?
No doubt.
But it seems like that's something
Because Osai played an unbelievable game.
seemingly normal
Yeah.
in that clubhouse.
No doubt. And that's kind of that's a segue into my curtain call, right? So my curtain call is around the same thing. It's not necessarily that. It's not about Pratt with the how they handle that. It's BJ Hill for me, right? And to me, this shows why I think the Bengals are going to be good for a very long time is because of the culture and the way that they've kind of built this team and the leadership they have on this team. Obviously, Joe Burrow is who he is. He is the leader. He is the bona fide leader. There's no question about that, right? But Joseph Osai played a great game. He had a bad play. It wasn't like a careless play. He was hustling, and it just happened in the heat of the moment, and he was extremely emotional, and people were like, oh, he's crying because he messed up. Like, no, he's crying because he let his teammates down, and he knows that, and he's hurt about that, and that just shows you that how much they care about him. And then BJ Hill, who is the vet, steps up next to him and does the interview with him. And basically in solidarity and hey, I'll support you, bro. I'm behind you. Like, this is what's going to happen. And can you play the video? Mm-hmm. Because that is, to me, this was awesome.
Dumb question. Come on. He played his butt off the whole game. Ask a different question.
Overall, I mean, what it looked like guys were coming up to you on the sideline as you went through that. I mean, what was that like having guys come up and kind of go?
Like I said, it was great knowing that I had the support of my teammates, and I gotta, like Sam was saying, I gotta learn from experience, and I gotta know not to get close to that quarterback when he's close to that sideline. If there's anything that could possibly cause a penalty in a dire situation like that, I gotta do better.
Things are happening so fast there, obviously. Did you have any idea you were at that sideline there? I mean, obviously you're in full chase, and
Yeah, I was just in full chase mode, and I was trying to push him to maybe get him going backwards because I knew he was going for that sideline. I was trying to make him go backwards, get that clock running, but I didn't know. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know how far out of bounds we were, but yeah.
Did you get injured on the play?
Yeah, my knee buckled a little bit, but we're gonna take care of it and get an MRI done tomorrow.
Which knee?
The right knee.
What did Zach tell you after the game?
I love watching BJ Hill, though. He looks like he's at the bodyguard. Like, hey, y'all say y'all cross one thing, I'm about to eat you.
Plays we had to make that it didn't come down to that one, and we just got to keep moving forward.
What your teammates told you?
Same exact thing. They've been super supportive. And,
But that, to me, like, that's hard, man. Listen, I've never been in that situation. I've never had a penalty in a game of that magnitude to where, hey, this is like we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I've never, done anything to where I had a mistake that prevented us from going to the World Series, right? Now, listen, I've had plenty of mistakes in the game. Jared's been on the field when I've messed up, and like everybody's going to go through those types of things. I had a situation when I was in Detroit, and this wasn't like this wasn't the same it wasn't the same magnitude, but we were starting to win. This was in 2017. I was playing every day. I was playing very well, and I was on first base, and we were down by a run. And this was the bottom of the 8th inning, and we were down by a run, and Victor Martinez was at the plate, and he hit a ball down the right field line, a line drive. That's a double. No doubt in my head, double. I did the whole thing. I looked in the outfield, saw the alignment of all the outfielders, and I was like, in my head, I was like, this ball is down. Before he hits it, I say, if he hits it in the gap or it's a double, I have got to score from first base to tie this game, right? Their closer is going to come in. We're playing the Royals. They had a really good closer at the time. Like, I have got to score. That's in my head. And I check the alignment. We go through another pitch. I check the alignment. I don't quite check right field. I just assume he's in the same spot. The next pitch, Victor Martinez crushes the ball down the right field line, and I am taking off. Like, I, no doubt, going to score. I round second. I peek to see where the ball is. I see Bonifacio as the right fielder. I see him running, and I saw him reach out and catch it. Didn't dive either. Like, ran it down, caught it. So I turned back. I run. I try to beat it. He throws me out. Double play. End of inning. Right? The next inning, we don't score. Game over. I'm like, damn, this is like, we were starting to play really well, and like this was we needed to win all these games. And it was early. It was middle of the year. It wasn't like it was like this, but the same situation. I felt like I had let my guys down. I wasn't crying because, like I said, it didn't prevent me from going to the World Series, but I was not happy with myself because I felt like I let my teammates down, the guys that I had felt like I had been working hard for and whatever. And so, like, I'm sitting in my locker and, like, I did the same thing. I had to go through all the interviews. I had to tell them what I was thinking, what I was doing. And I just sat in my locker in my uni, and I was just sitting there, like, just, trying to figure out, damn, what could I have done differently? I thought I did everything right. And you have guys come up to you. Kinsler came up to me, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, hey, it's all right. It's all right. And he sat down with me, and he talked me through it, and we whatever, and, like, to let you know, like, hey, this is not the end of the world. Now, obviously, the magnitude of the situation wasn't the same, but the whole point of it is you have guys on the team like that step up and are leaders and are veterans. Like, that goes a long way. Like, obviously, I'll never forget that Kinsler was my all-time favorite teammate, right, for a bunch of different reasons, but that was part of it. He was the one guy on the team that I didn't want to let down, and that's why I think the Bengals are going to be good for a very long time because they have that type of leadership and they're like that. So that's my curtain call. Jack has a curtain call. He's not here. It's the Pat Beverly. Got ejected for showing the referee the missed call on the camera, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen.
I thought, like, Pat Beverly's he's not shy about doing anything, but that was awesome. Now, it was a very bad call.
Comes out on the floor to Eric Lewis with a camera. I mean, just ridiculous.
Look at the ref's like, oh, yo, that's too much. Get out of my face.
You said they thought he was fouled. He was fouled.
And he still pointed at it again.
Yo, that's the best.
Oh,
that's
man.
So funny.
Hey, I respect that. Obviously, he deserved the tech because you can't do that. But it was a very bad call.
That's a
it
definition
lost
of
the game.
entertainment right
No
there.
doubt.
Oh,
no doubt.
I mean, LeBron's reaction was
LeBron's reaction was.
I mean,
LeBron did a full 360 on his knees.
I thought he was about to cry.
Yeah, I thought so too.
No, it was obviously a blatant foul. Like, that was going to win the game. I mean, there was no time left on the clock when he does that. Like, that, you shoot two free throws, you just make one, the game's over. So I understand it, but the Pat Beverly thing was so funny. But all right, those are our curtain calls. We appreciate y'all tuning in and watching. We're happy that Jay's back. We're happy that the squad is almost back together. Hopefully Wednesday, we'll have the entire squad together. We will see. We will let you know. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll see you Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. at our normal time. Please like and subscribe to our show, to our YouTube channel. If you don't watch us and you like to listen to us, we are on anywhere you get your podcast, and we appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. If you see us out, continue to come up and tell us that you like the show because we enjoy that. If you don't like the show, tell us what you don't like about it. See if we can't get it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you boys. See ya.